I think we all got drawn away by other movies and other things. That's what happened. Tom went off and had a phenomenal 35-year career since the first one, working with great directors. He got great screenplays that came in, working with terrific actors. So our focus was bifurcated. We went in many different directions. Same thing with us. We found other movies that were in the forefront, and Top Gun became in the back. So finally, about 5 years ago, is when we got very serious with this. Well, Joe Kosinski came up with the story. I met with him in our office, and he told us the story of what he wanted Top Gun to be. And Tom was filming Mission Impossible in Paris. So Joe and I got on a plane, flew to Paris. Joe brought a lookbook. He brought a poster, Top Gun Maverick. He named it Top Gun Maverick. And he told Tom the story that you saw in the cinema. And he also said to Tom, if we do this together, I want to do everything real. I want the pilots actually flying in those planes. We got to figure out how to make that happen. So that was what he demanded of Tom. Tom took out his cell phone, called the head of Paramount, and said, I want to make another Top Gun. Well, it always makes you nervous, but not so nervous when you have Tom. Because everything Tom does is about safety. He rehearses, he practices. As an example, he had them go up in 3 different planes before they could get an F-18. Because they have a thing called G tolerance. 1 G is your body weight. In order to get in the F-18 and see what you saw on the screen, that's 7 Gs. That's 7 times your body weight. That's what those actors were feeling. So you have to build that up. So when they're going down, the actors are actually going down. When they're going straight up in the air, the actors are going up in the air. When they're turning, they make those turns, those sharp turns. They're making those sharp turns. They're actually in that plane. It took Joe 15 months to figure out where to put the cameras in the cockpit. Give the throwback to the audience who saw it 36 years ago and to treat a modern audience today. So the fact that the way we started the movie, his jacket, the motorcycle, all the things that you saw in the first movie, which a younger audience may not have seen the first Top Gun, but it gives an older audience the nostalgic feeling. Then we populated the movie with a bunch of young actors for the modern audience. They're all young, very good-looking, terrific actors. And that's part of the story of Tom teaching the next generation on how to be Top Gun pilots. They're already Top Gun pilots, but how to be excellent pilots. They all would ask him questions. How did you build your career the way you built it? How did you do this? And he was very generous in partaking the knowledge of his career onto our young actors. He would hold almost like little conversations with every one of them to tell them how they should behave, how to best prepare for the movie, just designing the training programs for them so they could excel, so they wouldn't get left out. And he's very generous with his knowledge. Well, Tom, when we talked about making another Top Gun, he said, I'm not going to make it unless Val Kilmer's in it. It's very important to me. So we had discussions with Val, and he was instrumental in helping us come up with the idea of his character and how he would be in the movie. So we worked very closely, Tom worked very closely with Val. And one of the great things for me making this movie is to see those 2 actors back together again after 36 years on the big screen. And it was just such a joy to see them back acting with one another. When we set out to make this movie, of course, it was going to be on the big screen. So when the pandemic hit, we made a deal with Paramount. The only way this movie could come out is on the big screen. So we held the movie for 2 years. We finished it 2 years ago. And it sat there for 2 years, so we had to wait for the right time when the pandemic was becoming an endemic, and we could bring it out on the big screen. It's the only way to see this movie. Opening weekend, on a big screen, with the biggest screen you can get, with great sound, and take a day, take whatever you want. It's a great experience for an audience, as you know. That's what we're going to do. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much.
Pete, this is the one place I thought I'd never run into you. Who'd you piss off this time?
Another admiral.
You will have 3 weeks to teach them how to fight as a team
And how to come home.
Those are your pilots.
You know what happens if you go through with this.
I know what happens to everyone if I don't.
Come on!
トップガンマーヴェリック